Pentagon staged its largest exercise in the South China Sea in years, sending 2 carrier battle groups and a B-52H Stratofortress heavy strategic bomber into the strategic waterway. The carrier battle group demonstrated that the U.S. military could still deploy a considerable military force thousands of miles from home in the middle of a global pandemic. China says that the exercise was muscle flexing, designed to militarize the region. The 2 carriers, the USS Nimitz and USS Ronald Reagan, rendezvoused in an undisclosed location in the South China Sea. Together, the 2 carrier strike groups formed the Nimitz Carrier Strike Force. The strike force ran several tactical exercises designed to maximize air defense capabilities and extend the reach of long-range precision maritime strikes from carrier-based aircraft in a rapidly evolving area of operations. Strike fighters from both carriers simulated enemy air attacks, testing the force's ability to detect, intercept, and engage threats. The strike force was joined at sea by a B-52H Stratofortress flying non-stop from Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana. The B-52H, part of the 96th Bomb Squadron, 2nd Bomb Wing, flew non-stop from the continental United States, participated in the exercise, and then flew on to Andersen Air Force Base on the island of Guam. The entire mission took 28 hours. USS Nimitz is based at Everett, Washington, and is the centerpiece of Carrier Strike Group 11. Nimitz's Air Wing, Carrier Wing 11, consists of 2 squadrons of single-seat F/A-18E Super Hornet strike fighters, 1 squadron of twin-seat F/A-18F Super Hornets, and 1 squadron of EA-18G Growler electronic attack jets. The Air Wing is rounded out by 1 Marine fighter squadron flying older F/A-18C Hornets. According to the U.S. Navy, Nimitz's escorts include the guided missile cruiser Princeton and guided missile destroyers Sterett and Ralph Johnson. USS Reagan is based at...
Right, so I'd like to say Barak Tehawa, Barak Tehosha, Barak Tehawa, Barak Tehosha, Bahashem Rakahakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS, and salutations to you brothers out there that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe was past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. We get that again, Revelations 11 and 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. Joel 3 and 9, the scripture says, Proclaim ye this among the Gentile, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves, and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about, thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. So again, Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 9. And the scripture says, For lo, I will rise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence shall she be taken. Their arrow shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. Let me jump down to verse 14. And the scripture says, Put yourselves in array against Babylon, round about, all ye that bend the bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord. Right? And this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 1. It says, Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will rise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind, and will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. It says, Against him that bendeth let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in the brigadon, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. It says, Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets. This is Jeremiah 51 and 11. It says, Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord have raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, the Russians, for his device is against Babylon, to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. Right? So this here is the book of Obadiah. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 1. And the scripture says, The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord concerning Edom, which is the so-called white man. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her and battle. Against who? America. Right? The her is America. Babylon is America. It says, Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Right? Because the nations despise America. You could see the conflict between the U.S., China, Russia, Turkey, Iran, North Korea, South Korea, and other places, or other nations. It says, The pride of thy heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rocks. And who dwells in the cliffs of the rocks? Well, let's get it. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 36, verse 8. And the scripture says, Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom, and there are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites, in Mount Seir. Right? So again, Genesis 36 and 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom, and there are the generations, Salakia, and these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites, in Mount Seir. So who dwells in the cliffs of the rocks? The so-called white man, Esau, Edom. That's why they call themselves Caucasians, which means what? Cave dwellers. So Obadiah, Salakia, Obadiah 1 and 3. The pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, Who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as an eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, which is the satellites, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. Right? So the Lord is going to bring you down. Right? The Lord is going to bring you down. Right? Real quick, Salaka, bear with me for a second here. So again, going back to the book of Revelations, chapter 11, verse 14. The scripture says what? The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. But other than that, I like to say Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS, and salutations to you brothers out there that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. I like to say Mawatha Babel, which is death to Babylon, and Lord willing, this was edifying for you brothers out there that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. I like to say Shalom.
Yokosuka, Japan, and is the U.S. Navy's only aircraft carrier homeported in a foreign country. The carrier is home to Carrier Air Wing 5, consisting of 4 squadrons of F/A-18E and F/A-18F Super Hornet strike fighters and 1 electronic attack squadron. Reagan's escorts include the cruiser USS Antietam and destroyer USS Mustin. In addition to the jets and escorts, each carrier strike group typically includes 1 escort that never makes the official announcement, a nuclear-powered attack submarine. The strike force is almost certainly being escorted underwater by at least 2 Los Angeles or Virginia-class attack submarines that provide long-range anti-submarine screening. U.S. carriers operating in China's backyard are often shadowed by Chinese submarines, with Reagan stocked in 2015. A similar incident involving the carrier Kitty Hawk took place in 2007. This is not necessarily a bad thing. American submarines will detect and then shadow any Chinese submarine that shows up to watch the carriers. The American subs, while acting as bodyguards to the supercarriers, will quietly listen to the acoustic and electromagnetic emissions of the Chinese boats and discern what they can of their tactics, information that would be invaluable in a wartime scenario. China's foreign ministry called the exercises muscle flexing and complained the U.S. was trying to drive a wedge between regional countries, promote militarization of the South China Sea and undermine peace and stability in the region.